absorbent undergarments.
Damage 365 Radio with your host Kevin Nasta and John Torrey.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. All about control. And if you can take it, all about your debt. And if you can pay it, it's all about pain. And who's gonna make it? I am the game. You don't wanna play me. I am control.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Damage 365 Radio, episode number 12. I am your host, Coach Kev, along with my co-host via satellite, JT's electronically in the house.
We are here.
We are here. Space can't separate us. The show will go on regardless. We have a great show in store for you today. As always, you can reach Damage 365 through our social networking because we are always socially damaged. You can reach us on Skype at Damage 365 Radio, on Twitter at Damage Athletics, on Facebook at facebook.com/Damage365. You can reach us on Instagram at Damage365. You can reach us on Blogspot to read our host blog by searching for Damage 365 Radio, and our corporate site at DamageAthletics.net, where you can not only visit Damage 365 Radio, but you can visit Damage Athletics Softball that opened up Camp Nasta number 21 yesterday in Staten Island, New York, and one of the more beautiful Saturdays that we've had since August. So, so please reach out and visit any site. Reach out to us. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Ask us questions. We'll answer it live on the air. Reach us through Skype. We're always streaming on Skype during the show. We'd love to hear from you, our fans, because we would not be here without the fans. And that's why our special segment of shout-outs, it's for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into that. It's shout-out time, ladies and gentlemen. We want to wish special happy birthdays to Damage alums Andrew Gilkison, to Nicole Slappy Stachelski, and Ricky Litwinkovich. Happy birthday to all three of you former Damage players. And a special congratulations goes out to former Damage infielder Crystal Saldivar Sheeran and her husband Patrick on the birth of their brand new daughter that happened this past weekend, Avery Rose Sheeran. Congratulations on the healthy brand new baby girl to Crystal and Patrick Sheeran, and happy birthday to Gilky, Slappy, and Ricky. Sounds like Mo, Larry, and Curly. Happy birthday to all you guys.
We promised you a great main event here tonight. Andres, the China WrestleMania!
Hulkamania is running wild.
My God, what a run! It's not our world is watching.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get in to the round number 2 results of our greatest big men in wrestling tournament. A tournament that has been very controversial. We've hit the JCW scene this past weekend, and a lot of them, the wrestlers who listen to our show, they couldn't believe some of the first round upsets. But you know what? There's round number 2, so let's get right into that. It was the Giant Gonzalez versus Mark Henry, and it was Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, knocking off Giant Gonzalez. It was Hillbilly Jim knocking off the Earthquake, setting up round number 3. Mark Henry versus Hillbilly Jim. What do you got on that?
Something I did not expect, I must say. Giant Gonzalez, man with the greatest bodysuit in the history of any wrestling company I know of, loses to Mark Henry. He is the world's strongest man, so I guess I can look at it from that perspective. And I did not expect Hillbilly Jim to take down Earthquake. I was a huge fan of Earthquake, but as it is, it's Mark Henry versus Hillbilly Jim. And if I had to pick that one, I'm gonna go with Mark Henry, world's strongest man. Nice to take him down.
Makes sense. In the next bracket, it was Kane taking down Sid Vicious, and it was Andre the Giant taking down Rikishi. No surprises there, but sets up Kane versus Andre the Giant.
I'm going to go with Andre the Giant on this one because I feel he was more dominant in his time than Kane was in his time. He was also very dominant in his era, the Attitude Era, but in the Golden Era, Andre the Giant pretty much ran things for a bit, and I'm going to go with Andre the Giant in this one. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, Andre the Giant's pretty much been near the finals, if not winning tournaments so far in every tournament that he's been in. So he won the greatest Golden Era wrestler tournament, and he was in the semifinals of the technical tournament. So Kane's never going to be known as a technical guy. Kane never had the undefeated streak that Andre the Giant had throughout the entire 70s up till WrestleMania 3. So yep, I would go with Andre the Giant on this one.
But anything can happen.
It's true. That's why we have these tournaments. The next bracket, it was Kevin Nash, Big Diesel, knocking off King Kong Bundy. And it was the Great Khali knocking off Big John Studd, setting up Kevin Nash versus Khali.
And that's a battle of two big men right there. I'm gonna go with Kevin Nash on this one. I was always a huge fan of Kevin Nash. I mean, he was the first man to knock off Goldberg. I mean, via taser, but see Goldberg. First man ever. So I'm going to have to go with Kevin Nash on this one.
He was also the first man to ever lose a world championship by a single tap of a fingertip.
That's also a classic moment.
Maybe a classic disaster, maybe.
I don't know how he's tapping him down, though.
You got 7'6" in Khali against nearly 7 feet tall in Kevin Nash. Both incredibly strong. Khali in his prime, very mobile, but I think Kevin Nash is the better wrestler, and I think he's the better thinker in the ring, so I will go with Kevin Nash. I don't know if he's going to be able to get him up in the jackhammer, but I think he has enough tools in the shed to pull out the victory in round number 3. Let's go to the next bracket. It was The Big Show, with probably the biggest upset in this bracket, defeating The Undertaker. And it was Bam Bam Bigelow defeating former WWF champ Yokozuna, setting up the final bracket, The Big Show versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
And let me tell you something. That was a huge chapter for me, see The Big Show knocking off The Undertaker. But The Big Show has always been a dominant force. I remember him coming down to the ring during SmackDown one night and eliminating the entire roster.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yes.
But I'm going to have to go with Bam Bam Bigelow on this one. I was always a huge fan of Bam Bam Bigelow from Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Yep.
He also had a great bodysuit with flames, and I don't see The Big Show surviving the flames.
See, this I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one for the simple fact that, see, unlike some other big men that have some big, powerful moves where they could get you up in a backbreaker or maybe the bear hug, or maybe some kind of power bomb or something like that, Big Show can knock you out with a punch you didn't see coming.
I agree.
So that's why I'm going to go with The Big Show from the weapon of mass destruction, his right hand, and I say he knocks out Bam Bam Bigelow. Maybe not in the first punch, but I think he will eventually knock him out, put him down for good. So round number 3 looks like this, folks. Bam Bam Bigelow versus The Big Show. The Great Khali versus Kevin Nash. Andre the Giant battles with Kane, and Hillbilly Jim takes on the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, in round number 3 of the greatest big men in wrestling Damage 365 tournament. So we'll see where that comes in. And right now, I'm sorry, JT, what were you going to say?
I said that's a strong Elite 8 right there.
It is. And, next tournament we have, next year when we have, the second annual Big Men in Wrestling, we'll have some other wrestlers to add to this list. So, this was more of a smaller bracket because, Big Men in Wrestling is a lot more scarce than your regular tournament. Easy to get 64 guys in a technical tournament. It's easy to get 64 guys in a intercontinental tournament, but it's really hard to even scrounge up the 32 that we were able to get just for the big men. And, maybe next year we add a couple more. You never know who comes across the ranks of wrestling between TNA and WWE, and who knows what Jeff Jarrett's brand new brand will bring by this time next year. So who knows? But one thing I do know that we have is a sit-down interview with JT and JCW's Princess Destroyer, Shannon Williams. She came over to visit us at JCW at the Damage 365 table. And let's play that interview. This is JT and JCW's Princess Destroyer, Shannon Williams.
This is the real number 8, JT, coming to you from Damage 365 Radio, live in Edison, New Jersey. I am here with JCW's Shannon Williams. Shannon, how are you tonight?
Doing great, doing great. It was a great show tonight.
It was a great show. A couple of quick questions for you. We wanted to know your biggest influence in your life to get into the wrestling business.
Biggest influence? I mean, it's kind of tough because there's so many out there that are just phenomenal wrestlers.
Right.
I mean, if you want to go back to when I was a kid, I was watching back like WWF back in the days, like obviously Jake the Snake, who's Hall of Fame right now, which is like phenomenal. Then you've got, the Hulk, who's like just blowing up and he's back. So it's like, it's going really good. But I want to say probably the big influence would probably have to be the Hulk, because I mean he's just still top notch right now.
Right, huge icon, and I can totally understand. We want to know also, why are you with JCW? I mean, it is a great company to work for, but what brings you here?
I was stolen and kidnapped.
Really? Did Ricky throw you in the back of his truck?
No, yeah, like locked up right behind. No, seriously, I actually came upon the guys through a fellow friend, Damian Darling.
Okay.
And Damian Darling and I, we became friends through another company with the Funkified Federation.
Okay.
And which I still am good friends with them as well too. But they just basically with open arms welcomed me to like come into the Players Club, and I am a new face. I've been at this for a little over a year, but they needed obviously a hot chick to be at the Players Club. So and they're just phenomenal people, and it's such a brotherhood and a family, like so bonded and tight, with pretty much like one night conversation of them ask me how I got, when I say them, JCW, it was just, it was just a one night conversation, and the next day they just landed me into the, company and with them, and next thing you know, I'm on like 5, 6, 7 posters and already booked, so.
Right, and even as a fan, you can feel the family environment.
Right.
Well, you said you're friends with Damian Darling. How did you get involved with the Players Club?
With the Players Club? Well, Danny is a phenomenal guy. So, like I said, we had a conversation and we were talking, and it just happened to be, like I said, they had a good-looking group, so they needed a good-looking girl. So
and they found one.
And they found one, because I am a cold-hearted bitch. So what's better yet to be a cold-hearted bitch and be with the Players Club and with a cold-hearted person, which is Danny. So
right, that's awesome. And do you have any upcoming goals for the year?
Upcoming goals. Well, being that I've been with JCW for a couple months now, I want to say I wish to achieve higher in what I'm doing right now. Thank you, honey. and basically, you know, I want to go to the top, you know, and a lot of people helping me out to become better. Every day I'm learning something new from some other wrestler and picking their brains to become something better at what I am now, but becoming better. So
awesome. Well, I'm glad I could pick your brain to become better at what I'm doing as well.
Hopefully WWE, you know, they'll come, you know, I'll be on Divas, hopefully.
I could totally see that in your
They
future.
just need to come find Princess Destroyer, so.
That's right. And I wanted to ask you that as well. Why do they call you the Princess Destroyer?
Oh, Destroyer, because I am, it's kind of like an oxymoron. It's you know, princess part is because I'm just lovable, sweetheart, and I have a lot of people that take care of me. From any aspect, from friends to looking out for me. Destroyer comes from the fact that I destroy a lot of shit.
Okay.
Am I allowed to say that?
You're allowed to say whatever you want. We'll just mark that with explicit
right.
content.
And pretty much anything that comes in my path, in my way, it gets destroyed one way or another. Sometimes it could be a good way, it could be a bad way, but it's always some kind of way. So it's like I just destroy anything that steps in my way.
Awesome. Well, it's getting late, and I guess you want to get out of here, and I don't want to get destroyed by the Princess Destroyer. So this is the real number 8 JT with Damage 365 Radio, and Shannon Williams of JCW coming to you live from Edison, New Jersey.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, hon.
And we're back, and it was a great interview with JT and Shannon Williams. As you can hear, they were just breaking down the event that we were a part of on Friday in Edison, New Jersey. That saw, again, Jake the Snake Roberts in action, the JCW Extreme Champ Bandito Jr., JCW World Champ Damian Darling, who tagged up with Jake the Snake Roberts and Matthew the Leprechaun to take on the aforementioned group that consisted of Danny D'Amonto, Nikki Oceans, Eric Andretti, and the Princess Destroyer, the Players Club. And, of course, the Players Club didn't win because they never win. But
That was a show, though, and Danny D'Amonto was always great on the mic.
he's great on the mic, but at the end of the ring, he's laying on the mat. So
2 thumbs up, both of those things right there. I love them.
We're going to take a commercial break, and on the back end, we're going to come back with my interview with indie star Renee Michelle. I can't even read, folks. Renee Michelle. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. Over a decade of excellent dining experience. Dine in, take out, or free delivery. We feature over 25 different types of pizza pies, and also we'll create anything you want. Our sauces are made fresh daily and use only the freshest ingredients. We also have good old-fashioned style entrees, cooked like your mom used to make. From wraps, calzones, rolls, and pasta specials galore to calamari and soups, all in a cozy atmosphere. Call today or stop on in.
We're here live at JCW in Edison, New Jersey, and I'm with Renee Michelle. Finally welcome to Edison.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's actually a pleasure. We've been trying to track you down on Facebook for a couple of months, but we finally got you live.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very glad that you finally get a hold of me.
A couple of questions I want to ask you. One of the main things we always ask independent wrestlers is how you got into the business and who was your biggest influence?
How I got into the business is that I will admit that I never grew up in wrestling, and two friends of mine took me to a TNA or WWE event, and how I was discovered was by Dwayne Gilbert, as everyone knows. So then from there, it pretty much, as much as he was trying to get me to get in, I was simply refusing, absolutely. I looked at him like he had 6 heads on his shoulder. So he finally convinced me. I gave it a try, and then ever since then, I became addicted to it. I fell in love with the sport, and I don't have any regrets for it at all.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as you can see, it's got a very large following, so you're not the only one that gets addicted to wrestling. The big difference is that you get in there and kick some butt, and we just watch. What nationality are you?
My nationality is Cuban, Native American, Italian, Black, Irish, Spanish, Cherokee, French, and German.
Okay, I should have. Yeah, there's a lot there.
International.
Well, because I see the feather in your hair, and I know a lot of the pictures that you take are very Native American-like, and So I felt I needed to ask you. I figured you had some. I know it wasn't a gimmick. I know you had some in you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as from what I see, there's not that many native wrestlers. You know, you have your massive amount of Latinos and, you know, African American descent and other fourth of nationalities, but there's not that much of Native American descent. So of course, you know, I want to bring that to the table. And not only on top of that, it stands out. It stands out, you know. When do you ever see like a bunch of Native Americans?
I couldn't, maybe since the 80s when Tatanka was running around and Chief J Strongbow. Yeah. I recently I can't remember any to date. I'm sure there is some in independent, but obviously you don't get to see them on television. What do you have coming up for 2014?
Well, on the 22nd, I'll be attending the Maryland Championship Wrestling from there, so be sure to check me out from there. I'll be teaming up with Nui Togoa, and I'll be going against Kobian and Jesse K.
Okay, and for your fans out there who will be listening to the show, because we did tag you on the banner that we posted today, how can they reach out to you to, you know, give their wishes and find out what's going on with you?
They can reach me on Facebook.com/OneReneeMichelle, or you can get me on Twitter, OneReneeMichelle, or Instagram. You know, I always like taking pictures, so I'm looking forward to hear everyone's opinions about it at Lady RM.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate your time. Sorry we couldn't get to see you in the ring against Tina, but, you know.
I'll get her next time. I'll definitely get her next time.
This is Coach Kev live from JCW in Edison, New Jersey with Renee Michelle. Back to you guys.
And we're back as we had two great interviews. First, we had Shannon Williams with JT, and I had the pleasure of talking to indie star Renee Michelle, and she had some transportation issues getting to the event, missed her match with Tina San Antonio, which would have been a rematch. Renee won the first one earlier in the month, but I guess we'll see that match somewhere down the road at another JCW event, maybe. But one thing... Yeah, what, say that?
I said, too bad we didn't get to see who fight. But at least we got to talk to him.
We've yet to see a female match at JCW from all the events that we've been to. They've been valets, but we haven't seen a wrestling match.
I know, but I expect there to be one pretty soon. I expect there to be one.
Okay. We got a couple minutes to talk. We're expecting at 6:30 the Bulldog, James Dillon, to call in. So I'm going to give the mic to JT a little. I want him to tell you about the next coming event with JCW before we talk about this past Friday's. I know they're in Hasbrook Heights on the 28th, and on 29th they're in Queensboro, where Jerry the King Lawler is going to be. So, JT, tell all our fine folks the card that's coming up in Queens on the 29th.
I don't have the card in front of me, Kev.
Ah, you closed it down? All right. Well, they will, ladies and gentlemen, they will be in Queensboro, which is Queens, New York, and they will be having a big card going on, which will feature Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler, and you know, of course, the same cast of characters will be on the card, like JCW champ Damien Darling and Bandito Jr., but also that will be on the card because the day before is the J Cup tournament, so you never know. You might have the Down Boys coming to Queensboro as JCW Tag Team Champions. So you don't know. But 29th, you will see the Spirit Squad with SoCal Val. You will see Candy Cartwright, the Hit Squad. Of course, you will see Danny D'Amato and crew. You will see the Sons of Kamala, Nikki Oceans, Eric Andretti, Joey Janela, Mo Sexton, Mac McIntosh, Aaron Epic, Earl Cooter, as aforementioned, Extreme Champion Bandito Jr., Too Hot Steve Scott, Maximum Sex Power, and Shannon Williams, and many, many more. So that's gonna be a big show headed off with Jerry the King Lawler, WWE Hall of Famer. That is Saturday the 29th at the Queensboro Elks Lodge in Elmhurst, Queens, New York. As always, doors open at 6:45, bell time at 7:45. The night before is the 2014 Tag Team J-Cup Tournament. The winner of that tournament will be crowned the JCW World Tag Team Champions. You will see Bandito Jr. and his father, Bandito Sr. You will see Spirit Squad tagging up. Aaron Epic and Chris Dickinson tagging up. Joey Janela and Rhett Titus tagging up. Glitz and Glamour. Homicide and Monster Mac. Danny DeMonto and Nikki Oceans and the Down Boys will be tagging up. And right now, we're going to take our call from our call of the day, so hold on.
Yeah, welcome to the Dog House. Yeah, let's go. It's the Bulldog, dog. B-U-L-L-T-O-G-G. Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome to the show the student of Jake the Snake Roberts, the Bulldog, James Dillon. Welcome to the show, Bulldog. Hey, how's it going? Great show this past Friday in Edison. Really enjoyed it. I know you were kind of part of that kind of squash match, but you held your own.
Hey man, there's a spot on every card for something, and I'm just glad to be able to lace my boots up and get in the ring every weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And every match that we've seen you in, we've seen that steady increase of improvement from you, which I know has a lot to do with working close with the legendary Jake the Snake Roberts, and and your desire to learn and better yourself in the ring. So we got to give you kudos for that on the great job.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's all about living a dream, and right now I'm having an opportunity to not only train with Jake, but to talk and learn from Scott Hall and DDP, and it's an experience that not many people get to experience, and it's a dream come true, and I'm so thankful and grateful.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that everybody knows Jake the Snake and what he had in the ring throughout the late 70s, all through the decade of the 80s, early 90s. Everybody knows DDP and him from WCW, and then later in his career with WWE. But a lot of people seem to forget how prolific Scott Hall was in the ring all throughout the late 70s and in the whole decade of the 80s. I mean, people only kind of remember him as one of the outsiders, one member of the NWO. But Scott Hall was a technician, a genius in the ring way before they started that whole NWO thing. So he's a good guy to learn from, and DDP is a great guy to learn from as far as work ethic is concerned. And Jake the Snake, you get a little bit of both. And you're also going to get some life lessons from not only Jake but Scott Hall of the things that you got to worry about when you're in just the life as a wrestler. And and I'm sure he's passed it on to you.
Right, absolutely. I mean, before I moved here, like when I was 4 or 5 years old, Razor Ramon was my favorite wrestler, and back then I was just a fan and not even knowing about the Clique. My favorite wrestlers were, Razor and Nash, Kid, and Shawn Michaels, and I didn't even know about the Clique. And it's, then to come up the road, meet all those guys, and then to live and learn from Scott Hall is, like I said, a dream come true. And you can't count it, like, with Dallas and Scott and Jake have all accomplished in this business, and for me to be here, it's a lot, I don't have words to explain how I feel here, but I'm taking that knowledge on all realms of personal and business, and I'm trying to better myself, making them as a life lesson, and I'm not taking it for granted.
No, I don't blame you. Now, how did you get into the business to begin with? I mean, obviously, you watched it on TV and said, "Yeah, I would love to be a wrestler," but how did you get into it? Who was the one that opened the door for you?
Right. Well, I mean, I was
years old, I was 292 pounds, and struggling my way through school. I dealt with bullies, but my biggest bully was myself. And I would always feel the first punch of myself because it would be less painful for someone else to make a joke about me. And growing up, the only addiction besides food that I had was wrestling, and wrestling has consumed my life. I couldn't have a conversation with you about anything else. And so at 16, I was 300 pounds, and there was no chance I could live my dream to be a wrestler. So I couldn't even walk up the steps in school without getting tired. So for my 16th birthday, people usually have like a Sweet 16, whatever. I went to a wrestling convention in New Jersey, and I was going to meet DDP and a bunch of other guys. And I 2 weeks before, I started looking for pictures because I used to get my own picture signed or whatever. And I came across the YRG program, which was yoga for regular guys. And it was just starting. There wasn't many people doing it. Mm-hmm. Arthur just started his journey. Arthur Boardman has just started his journey with YRG. And there was another guy named Smokey. He was successful in it, but the creator was Bad Dallas Page. So I was like, wow, one of my heroes growing up is doing this, and there's success coming from it. And so I'm like, I asked my mom after school one day if she could, maybe look into it, because I've tried other stuff. It just wasn't fun or exciting. And so we ordered the program, and my mom sent DDP an email. We ordered the program, and DDP sent us an email thanking us for ordering the program. And, I thought it was just like an automatic email thanking us, and not knowing it was actually personally from DDP, because back then there wasn't many people buying it. So he would just send out a personal email thanking us. Well, my mom emailed him back a heartfelt message about me and my love for wrestling, and about wanting to get me healthy, because I was 300 pounds at 16. Where was I going to be at 18? So DDP messaged her back and forth. Then I meet him in New Jersey. I work out with him, and then in 10 months, I lost 100 pounds. Nice. So I was down to 198, and I was looking for wrestling schools because I was able to, because I was in better shape. I had the opportunity to follow a dream, and I started training with Steve Carino in Pennsylvania. And I actually just passed the place that we started training in the back of Gold's Gym yesterday. But I started with Carino, and then I moved on to get trained by Eddie Valentine, who was in CZW, former CZW Tag Team Champion. And then, then I trained with him, and then I kept learning from guys every day. Every day in this business, I learned from guys. And that was pretty much how I broke into the business.
Well, definitely congratulations on losing the weight. I mean, that's the story in itself. Just to get yourself healthier is remarkable, and the drive that you had to keep doing it. Outside of just wanting to be a wrestler. I mean, just the fact that you were able to lose the weight that's amazing in itself. How did you eventually get linked up with Jake Roberts?
Well, I broke into the business, and I did all that. I lost all that weight in 10 months, and then April 2008, my grandfather died, and my grandfather was he was my best friend, and he was like a father figure, and I lost him to cancer, and then 2 years later, I lost my great uncle who lived with us for 8 years, and I watched him deteriorate from leukemia, and I fell into like a serious depression, and I pushed myself away from DDP. I ate whatever the hell I wanted, and in 5 years I gained 150 pounds back.
Oh.
And I was up to 360 pounds. My matches were shit. And I never want to be a fucking turd in this business. I always wanted to be successful, and because I have a passion for wrestling, I don't want to be some backyarder trying to make it in this business. I want to be a wrestler trying to make it in this business. And but I didn't have the pride to stop. And so I would go out there and have shit matches and become one of those guys that I want to be. Well, Jake the Snake moved in with DDP, and then in January, or I guess it was February or March of last year, Scott Hall moved in. And when I saw Scott move in, after the success Jake already had, I was like, wow. Because Scott, like I said, Scott was one of my favorites. And to know, as a wrestling fan, to know where both of these guys have been, it would have never been a surprise to hear one of them passed away. And to see them both be successful together, I was like, wow. So Scott moving in, not even doing anything yet, motivated me, and I lost 20 pounds in a month. And DDP called me up, said he saw my success on Facebook, and he's like, man, I know you got a lot of things going on in your life right now. I have a job opportunity as a video editor for myself, for DDP Yoga, and I want you to move down here and work for me, and we'll keep your momentum going with DDP Yoga, and you'll have a job working for me, and you'll get to learn from these guys. And instantly, Jake and I was coming in thinking, wow, I'm gonna get to be with Scott. And instantly, Jake and I had a connection. And for the next 6 months, we were together 24/7. Just working around the house, doing whatever. And so instantly, Jake and I became friends. And the rest is history.
That's awesome. I mean,
that's great.
I don't even know what to say to that other than, keep up the good work. And, I mean, you had some good fortune there to fall into good hands. JT, you had a question.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake's going to be very influential in your life and in your career. Can you tell us what you feel is the most important thing that Jake has taught you along the road?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Jake as such a, the greatest talker in psychology. And psychology is the thing, that's what he's teaching me, even, for instance, in Edison, New Jersey, he was kind of upset, he wasn't upset that I was in a squash match. He was upset because I didn't fight back. And it's all about psychology, and that's all he's teaching me, fight back. You just don't, it's not about wins or losses. It's about entertaining those fans. And if you're dying in the match, there's no reason for them to watch.
Right.
There's no hope for a comeback, and it's all about telling a story. And that's what Jake's good at, and that's what I'm learning from him.
It's right. I mean, one thing everybody knows. Everybody wants to call Triple H the cerebral assassin, but if you think about it, I would say the original cerebral assassin was Jake the Snake Roberts. He would just, whether it was you were concentrating on the snake somewhere at ringside, and then he would take advantage of that because you weren't paying attention to him, or there was some kind of other psychological advantage he would have over you, and he would always use fear against his opponents. So, he's a thinking man's thinker in that ring. So that's a great thing to learn from him. Were you with Jake when he got the Hall of Fame news?
I was not. I had ideas and thoughts and heard the rumors like everybody else, but I kind of knew, but I didn't hear it from anyone else. And I knew he finally told us the week before, or the day of, and we watched it together. And I was there when they made the announcement on TV with him, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
I mean, we had the pleasure of interviewing them the night before they announced it. Not the night before, the Friday before. The Friday before they announced it on Raw, so we had to interview with him the Friday before, and we got to hang out with him a little while, and then we interviewed him again, after the fact. That was the one that we actually got to play on the radio, and he's a good guy, and he's been through a lot, and not only just physically, a lot of the mental things that he had gone through that drained him physically, and it's good to see him, beat his demons, now beat cancer, and now get in the ring and start beating on people again, and doing something that he loves to do. And I know he feels good, and all his fans and family have to feel good about him as well.
Right, absolutely. Learning Jake on a personal level, Jake has a big heart, and he's never meant to hurt anyone, and he's working really hard, and every day is a challenge, but today he's doing good, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yep.
He's always working hard, he's always learning, and to be a part of this as not only a fan but now a friend, growing up dreaming of going to a WrestleMania, but now to have a part of it and kind of have an interview helping Jake on this road after knowing, beyond the mat, and after being a fan for so long, and now to be one of his closest friends is so humbling. And to see his success, we've seen him fall, and to be part of those as well, it's so humbling because, the time we publicized his fall on DDP TV, I was the one that had to call him out on it, and, it was just humbling, and, we got through it, and no addict, no addict is cured right away, and it takes years and years and years, and I'm so proud of Jake and his success, and this is the best possible year that he's going in, and he earned it, and he deserves it, and like I said, I'm humbled to be here and thankful.
Okay. What's going on with you for 2014? What do you got coming up?
Just working. I travel on the road with Jake by his request. I'm his safety net, and not only do I get to go to the shows, he gets me booked on the shows, and so I get to learn and wrestle. Last night I got to wrestle in Reading, Pennsylvania, which I spent 15 years of my life growing up, and got to wrestle in front of my friends and family, which was pretty awesome. And I also run my own shows in Lewistown, Pennsylvania. I'm going to keep that going. I've been thinking about running shows here in Georgia, but it's all about getting experience now and working on my health. I'm still around 280. I want to get down to 320, 230. I'm keeping my weight goals and trying to stay successful that way. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And I just want to become a better wrestler. I never wanted to be a shit wrestler, and I want to take pride in my work. And I think every time I lace those boots, I try to get better. And if it's asking Jake what to fix, or if it's asking Danny Inferno what to fix, every guy in this business has some kind of advice, and I'm just trying to pick everybody's brain, no matter if it's Jake, Scott, Dallas, or some indie worker for 20 years. I respect everyone in this business as long as they earn the respect, and I'm just willing to learn so much, and I'm so thankful, and I'm just going to keep getting booked with Jake, and we're going to the Hall of Fame here in 3 or 4 weeks. I'm super excited for that, and it's all a dream come true, man.
All right. Well, we want to wish you luck definitely want to wish you luck on your journey, your continued journey. Yeah, and we'll see you at some JCW events, I'm sure. And, just keep up the good work. Keep in touch with us. We're more than happy to spread some happy news for you. And, keep kicking some ass.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Same here. Thank you, man. Take care.
Pleasure.
That was the Bulldog, James Dillon, ladies and gentlemen. Very heartfelt. And as, it gets to the time of the show where we have to start saying goodbye.
I don't want to.
I know, it's that time. Sorry. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to episode number 12. Next week on the program, we will have the former associate producer of the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, and that is Evan Ginsberg. He will be on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, help control the nitwit population and have your friends spayed or neutered. On behalf of JT and Nick DeBeard, ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Closing time. One last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer.